in verse 21, from that time, Jesus began to show forth to his disciples how that he must go to Jerusalem. He must suffer many things of the chief priests and elders and scribes, and be killed, and do what? And be raised again the third day. Jesus told them. Matthew chapter 20, 17 through 19. Again, Jesus tells them, it's all going to happen, but on that third day, I'm going to be what? I'm going to be raised. Here they are, Peter and John, at the sepulchre. They look inside and they still don't what? You just can't perceive. They're about to perceive, though. Some of us, anyway. It's not going to be them, it's going to be who? Mary Magdalene. But Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping. And as she wailed, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre. So we now leave the narrative about Peter and John, and we're back to Mary Magdalene. And she's cheerfully standing next to the entrance of the tomb. Mary did not leave the tomb, as did Peter and John. Peter and John have departed. Mary remains there, and she's there doing what? She's weeping. She's crying. Now, I don't know if she was by herself, but I do know Peter and John are gone. I don't know what kind of day this occurred. You know, it's remarkable to me, as I mentioned before to you. This is fragmentary elements of what's happened. We don't get the entire story, we'd like to have it, but we are told the central parts that we need to understand. We don't need to know who was married, who's married, or what kind of day was. But I'm going to tell you something. If the Bible was not inspired of God, we'd have many, many chapters devoted to this right here. We'd be told who was there, the kind of day it was, whether it was cloudy or sunny, how hard the wind was blowing, what time of day. It would be minute details of this event. We're just told the central parts of what we need to have our what? Have our faith. Have our faith. And so, Peter and John have gone home. She stoops down now. So the sepulchre opening is also, not only is it below the eyesight of Peter and John, it's also below the eyesight of who? Of Mary. So she also stoops down and looks inside the tomb. And at this point, she only knows that his body is not in there, that his body is missing. And she assumes, as we're going to find out, that someone has came and removed it and took it to some unknown location. Peter and John have gone to a home that was owned or used by John. And so that's where they've gone off to. So Mary has stooped down. She looks into the sepulchre. Verse 12. And seeing two angels in white sitting, one at the head, another at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And they say unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She said unto them, Because they have taken away my Lord, and I know not where they have laid him. Imagine looking inside the sepulchre. You don't see Jesus lying there. You do see two angels clothed in white apparel. One's at the foot, the other at the head of where Jesus had been laying. Now they know where Jesus had been laying earlier because of what? The grave clothes. The grave clothes are still in their position, right? So it's obvious which was the head, which was the what? The feet of Jesus. And why was Mary crying? Yeah, the Lord is dead. She understands, she just heard Peter and John, that the body is gone. So she suspects that some cruel grave robbers have come and done what? Have taken his body. And so the angels ask her, well, why are she expressed her dismay. Somebody has taken away the Lord's body. And I'm telling you now, the tears of Mary are genuine. She thinks that some of his enemies have come and taken his body. Now she don't know what they've done with it. And apparently she does not really perceive that these two men inside this tomb, this sepulcher, are angels. But she's in a very emotional state. The event of the past 3 days have been very emotional, have been very hard. She's weeping. You know, a lot of times in that kind of physical condition, we don't perceive everything as we normally would.
Well, wouldn't it scare any house to look inside after they put him away and send him away?
That's what I'm thinking. You know, you just imagine now, Peter and John have just left. They tell you the body of Jesus is gone. You stoop down and look for yourself, and you see 2 men inside the sepulcher sitting there. With white apparel on. So, yeah, it would be a shock. It'd be a pretty big joke, I would think. And when she had thus said, she turned herself back and saw Jesus standing, and knew not that it was Jesus. Jesus said unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? She, that's Mary, supposedly the gardener, said unto him, Sir, if thou have borne him hence, tell me where thou hast laid him, and I'll take him away. So, Mary sees the 2 angels. She turns to leave the sepulcher, and when she turns around, guess who? Jesus. Jesus is standing there. But she don't recognize who Jesus is. Why don't she recognize who Jesus is? I just talked about the angels inside the sepulcher. A very high emotional state. She's given out. She's been weeping. She don't perceive who Jesus is. She thinks that he is the what? The gardener. And so, the natural question that needs to be asked is, have you moved the Lord's body? And if so, is it in a proper place? If you have moved the body, I'll get the body and I will take it to a proper place. And of course, maybe a strong woman, but she probably will have to have some help if his body is somewhere taken to a proper place, right? But again, she don't recognize Jesus. And, you know, we might do good to really spend more time talking about Mary Magdalene, because she was a woman of first class. She is a devoted disciple of the Lord Jesus Christ. And she represents that class of women who always put the kingdom of God first in their life. And, verse 16. Jesus said unto her, Mary. She turned herself and saith unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, Master. One word is all it took the Lord to be able to focus her attention on himself. All he had to do was say what? Mary. Mary. Immediately she is fully aware that this man that she earlier thought was the gardener is actually her Lord. And her one-word reply, Rabboni. And John tells us that that word meant master or teacher. And she is in a state of shock, of confusion. But the first thing that comes from her lips is to show by this term her reverence and love for him. I find it interesting, and again, I don't know, but I read, scholars say that there were three basic degrees of the word Rabboni, Rab was teacher. Rabbi was my teacher. The third degree was Rabboni, and it meant my great teacher. So, teacher, my teacher, my great teacher. And she refers to the Lord, Jesus, as what? As her great teacher. My great teacher. And I just assume